MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to talk week one of the 2021 NFL season. Panthers taking on the Mighty Jets.
The New York Jets. Let's just call
the
them
New
that.
York Jets. We'll just call them the New York Jets. Yeah, we'll be. All right. Well, let's look at some injury reports for the two teams. For the Panthers, it's a short list. We mentioned John Miller earlier. Shi Smith, the only one on the injury report for the Panthers, assuming he's out, I think at least another week or two. So that's nice to only have one player on the injury report.
Yeah.
And then for the Jets, only one did not practice for them, Sherrod Neeson, safety. And then LaMichael Perrine, running back, limited practice. Mekhi Becton, tackle, concussion, but full practice, so he's probably going to play. And then Keelan Cole, wide receiver, limited practice. So would imagine most of those guys probably play, but they're a little banged up.
Yeah, and
there are. Go ahead.
And wide receiver Jamison Crowder is also hopeful he can return off the COVID list for Sunday's game. Mm-hmm. But again, you have to test negative. You have to do all that. So I don't know how close he will be or if he's hopeful,
I wish they would put these COVID guys on the injury report.
Yeah.
That would be nice, to be able to see, because they're going to miss the game more than likely, or could miss the game. So, all right. So looking at, let's go ahead and get into it. So looking at the line for this game, my bookie has Carolina as 4.5-point favorites. That is down a little bit because they've been 5-point favorites pretty much the whole week.
Yeah.
So some money coming in on the Jets, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I've keep getting messages, people saying, Panther fans saying, "Oh, this game's going to be close," and I'm like, I don't see it that close.
I don't see it either.
But
we'll talk about it, but
it's just, it's new, so you never know. It's a new coaching staff up there, so.
Well, I think it's the uncertainty with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
It's the uncertainty with Sam Darnold. And, we were 5-11 last year. We were only, a game or two better than the Jets last year. So, that looking at the records, we weren't that much better. And I know we saw, obviously, the Panthers improving a lot as the season went on. They were better than their record. They lost some very close games. But I still think that the Panthers should handle this game pretty easily, honestly.
I do too. I 100% agree with you. If we want to go ahead and start looking at the matchups here, the Panthers O-line, which is, I think you and I agree, is the biggest weakness on this team.
Mm-hmm.
They're facing a Jets pass rush. Not very stout Jets pass rush. Looking here,
it's better than you think. It's not, top 5 or anything, but they've got some pretty good, they've got Quentin Williams is a good player.
CJ Mosley, but
CJ Mosley, yeah. They've got Carl Lawson, Vinny Curry.
Carl Lawson's out.
Is he out?
He's out for the season.
That's the thing. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at the injury report. I forgot that he's out. So that hurts them. But I worry that our offensive line is going to make some of these average defensive lines look a lot better than they are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's the matchup of the game.
I think it's worrisome. I agree. I think so too, because the Panthers O-line has looked awful in preseason. And if you don't give Sam Darnold enough time, that middle Jets defensive line won't open up holes for Christian McCaffrey. So you're going to have to figure something out if they're getting pressure up that middle or getting pressure on Sam Darnold.
Yeah, another one of our key matchups here is Panthers receivers versus Jets secondary, which is a matchup that the Panthers should absolutely
dominate.
Destroy. There is no, I think the Jets secondary has like a combined 5 starts between the corners at least. And they're all from one of the guys. So I think they're just really, really thin at that position for quality players. But if the O line is not giving Darnold time to get the ball downfield, then we're going to see a lot of Dinkin and Duncan. We're going to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey
Yeah.
receptions out of the backfield, little slants. Terrace Marshall will probably tear the game up.
DJ Moore,
So,
like he did in
yep.
Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's not, they can game plan around it, but I want to see some explosive offense. I want to see some really fun. I want to see some fun stuff happening. I want to see Darnold air it out. I want to see him have the time to do that.
Well, we'll have to hope and pray that this offensive line gives them that time. And this is a good defense for them to get better with. That sounds mean to any Jets fan, but we're not facing the Bucs with Shaq Barrett and JPP.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a decent first game for this team to warm up on and maybe get that gelling together that the offensive line typically does.
Yep.
Now,
on the other side, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's exactly on the other side. Our Panthers pass rush. Woo! The Jets have a solid O-line. It doesn't look that bad on paper. I heard a lot of people talk pretty bad trash, but I was like looking at these players. I was like, Greg Van Roten, we know him. He's a solid guard. Yep. Morgan Moses has tackle, really good right tackle.
That's someone we wanted to draft a few years back. I remember that name.
Yeah. Mekhi Becton, another solid left tackle that's going into his second year, so not bad.
Yep.
I mean,
I don't think the Becton Burns matchup is going to be real interesting to watch because Becton is kind of a physical freak, very similar to Burns in terms of how their athletic ability. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. I think Burns should be able to handle it, but I don't think it's. I think, like you said, it's their offensive line is, I would say, above average.
Yeah, on paper it looks a lot better than. Yeah, you never know how it actually.
I think that it's definitely have some changes from the last few years with Darnold having no protection.
Yeah, Elf line's over here now.
Right. Yeah.
I will continue to make.
One, right?
I will continue to make fun of him until he proves me wrong.
Yeah, I hope he does. I
kind of wonder if they'll flip Burns around a little bit, or if they'll keep him and have Hassan Reddick more pass rush on the other side against Morgan Moses.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. They've got options. They've got a lot of pass rushers on this team. A lot of pass rushers. So that's another thing that I'm just super hyped to watch is this defense and the morphing that Snow does to kind of get people in the right spots. I want to see, they should be having pressure every single snap.
They need
because of the talent that we have. I mean, it's going to be hard not to.
Well,
especially against, an offensive line that, like you said, is on paper looks better than average, but is not top 5, is not top 10 probably. So they should be able to eat that up.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, this defense's whole premise is get to the quarterback. Get to the quarterback and let Dante and JC Horn man some islands out there just for a little bit till that pass rush gets out there. And that's another thing I'm looking forward to is just our secondary is kind of revamped a little bit with JC Horn out there. I want to see how they handle it. And this is another receiving core. If Jamison Crowder plays, Keelan Cole, they're
Corey Davis.
Yeah, Corey Davis. I mean, they're a solid group. They're not the best that we're going to have to face this year, but they're a solid group.
Yeah, I mean, Jamison Crowder's always been very underrated with what he does. I've always liked him. Corey Davis, I think, is overrated, to be honest.
I do too.
He got a decent amount of money this year from them, and he's just been really hyped up. I don't really get it. It's gonna be interesting to see who is on him. I think he's their number one receiver, Corey Davis. So I wonder if it's gonna be Horn or Dante that takes him. I think Horn probably matches up a little better with him physically, but I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to put the rookie on the number one guy right off the bat.
Is Corey Davis a bigger guy or a speedier guy? I always thought he was a little bit speedier, but I could be mistaken. I
He's
just
six
know he.
three. Yeah,
Oh,
he's big. Yeah, he's 6'3", 210. So
oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, with that said, Corey Davis, I think, has had one really good season with Tennessee, and that was it. So I'm not feeling very threatened by Corey Davis. I kind of think Jamison Crowder is more of a guy that I would be more worried about.
yeah. I mean, and you say really good season. He's never cracked 1,000 yards. Like he's
Exactly.
never, he's had a good season, but 65 catches, 984 yards, 5 touchdowns. Like
Yeah.
that's not a top 20 receiver in my opinion. So,
No.
you know, we'll
I mean,
see.
we
It's not like he went to a better team. Tennessee was a pretty good team last year.
yeah, Curtis Samuel had that as our third receiver last year almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, those are kind of the key matchups. Obviously, some other things that we're looking forward to seeing, as we mentioned earlier, Darnold, just how comfortable he is in the offense, how the timing has progressed,
yeah,
from the half that we watched in against Pittsburgh, which looked pretty good.
yeah,
Looked like he had the timing pretty well down. Only a couple of really bad throws that I saw, but this is a different game. This is real.
and,
So
and I hope he doesn't press himself. This
mhm.
is such a big game in Sam Darnold's life, just in general. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he was drafted third overall by this team to become the
Mhm.
savior. He didn't. The team didn't surround him. He didn't progress, so they traded him. Now the first game back as a starter, he goes against his whole team. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on this guy.
And he's trying to downplay it.
Well,
He and Zach Wilson both have just been, it's just another game. But Zach Wilson, on the other hand, number
yeah,
2 overall pick, coming in as the savior of the franchise. This is his first ever game, and he has to play against the guy he replaced.
yeah.
So he's probably feeling even more pressure, I would imagine, even more butterflies.
I doubt more, but I bet you he has some butterflies and some pressure on him.
Well, he should be feeling more, in my opinion, because it's his first NFL game. Like, at least Darnold's done it for 3 years. Darnold should be feeling pumped. Like, Darnold should be like, I've got all these weapons. I get to go out and I get to blow away my former team and show everybody that I'm for real.
But that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that he is thinking that, and he's going to try to force the ball, which is a Sam Darnold issue, and
Mm-hmm.
throw some interceptions or something like that. It's
The good thing is their secondary is so bad that he may get away with it, which is another possible issue. Is that he learned some bad habits from this game. But man, they do have some good players in their secondary that are not at the corner. Marcus May, as safety, is very good.
yeah.
And then they've got a linebacker, I think, that's halfway decent as well.
C.J. Mosley's a good linebacker
Yeah, C.J.
if he
Mosley,
plays.
yeah.
So,
So
but
yeah, I mean, it's again, I just feel like the Panthers at almost every position
mhm,
are superior, except
yeah,
the O-line, which is so important.
yeah. It goes back to us being upset that they didn't pay more attention to that in the offseason. But
Yeah, and I hate bringing that up all the time, but until we see different, I think that's just something we're gonna have to.
yeah,
It's something we have to keep in mind. It's something
yeah.
that we have to base everything off of.
Now, another thing I'm looking forward to, I want to see Terrace Marshall. I want to see
Yeah.
him with some real game time. Who's going to be out there a good bit with 3 receiver sets.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited to see that type of connection.
Part of me thinks that Terrace Marshall is going to be more involved than any of us thought. Like, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
he might have more receptions or yards than Robbie Anderson. I think he's going to be maybe the number 2 receiver in terms of production in this game.
I could see that. I easily could see that. I could see them actually going with the hot hand. Whoever has the best matchup, whoever, hey, we've noticed that DJ's got this corner beat almost every play. We're going to start focusing in on that, or vice versa, Robbie Anderson or Terrence Marshall. And that's what we can do with these three very good receivers. And then we have Christian McCaffrey.
And Christian McCaffrey Christian McCaffrey's going to have a massive game here. Like, as long as they don't pull him midway through the third quarter because the Panthers are up by 30, he could easily hit 200 total yards in this game. If the O-line is not blocking well, then he's going to feast because they're going to have to get the ball out quick. And that's where he does his damage, just getting that ball out of the backfield, those quick passes, screen passes over the middle, run in place from the slot. Like, I just think McCaffrey is, man, I hate the fact that you have him in our fantasy league because he is going to be such a joy, as long as he stays healthy. It's going to be such a joy to have all year long for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Darnold is going to be CMC's best friend, if he isn't already. Like, he's going to be wine and dining him and everything because he is that safety valve that other quarterbacks have as tight ends or something like that.
Yeah.
It's his running back. Dan Arnold, as much as I'm excited to see him play today or on Sunday, CMC's still that guy. That guy, if pressure's breaking down, where's 22? Where's 22? I'm going to dump it his way. He has probably one of the best hands on the team.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was one of the things that folks said when he was coming out of college was he's the best receiver in the draft.
He had the best hands, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
not only could he have been the best running back in the draft, he's also could be the best receiver in the draft. And by the way, it's proven out.
Yeah.
He's had 100 catches or more in 2 seasons. So he keeps breaking his own record every year.
I mean, he's had more receptions than Corey Davis.
All right, you win that. You win that one,
Jerry. We're gonna probably get some YouTube comments from Jets fans. You're bashing our number one receiver.
Hey, and let him prove something too.
Yeah.
For the Jets, he's a good receiver. We'll say that.
Yeah, and they're in a rebuilding year. I mean,
they are. Yep.
Do they expect to go to the playoffs? No. Do we expect to go to the playoffs? We're on the verge.
Some of us do.
We think that we could be a wild card contender. That's so.
And hey, we're extremely excited about this game. We're probably going to pick the Panthers to win almost every week this year because we always do. But we also understand this is year 2 of our own rebuild, right? So to say that we're Super Bowl ready or we're ready to win in the playoffs is a little premature, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they are making the right moves mostly to head that direction.
I'm not going to lie. If I felt comfortable with Sam Darnold becoming a top 10 quarterback or even top 12 quarterback and our O-line protected, I would easily say that this team was a Super Bowl contender. With that defense, I think it's going to be a top 10, top 5 defense. But that's, again, with the O-line and Sam Darnold.
Okay.
I see you negative,
confident.
Nance. I see you negative. Yeah, I see you negative, Nancy.
The defense hasn't proven anything either. I mean, they improved over last year. They added some nice pieces this year, even though a couple of the guys they added were, again, kind of hoping that they realized the potential. The defense, again, I'm excited about it. We've talked about it all season long that we think this defense is going to be amazing. They still have to prove it.
Yeah,
they haven't won anything yet. They haven't earned anything yet. But in this game, they're going to feast.
I hope so.
This game, I think this game is going to make a lot of us, start buying Super Bowl tickets because the Panthers are going to look really good in this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right. It's that time of every week. Beer Bet of the Week.
Presented by MyBookie.ag. Guys, I did this today. I went on to my bookie. I deposited via Bitcoin. Okay, because why not? That way, my bank doesn't have to get involved. And I put a bet down on tonight's game, Bucks versus Cowboys. Right?
Same.
Just a small one, But my bookie, it's a great place. I have played there even before they started advertising with us. They have live in-game betting for every NFL game. The most rewarding player perks in the business for any of the fantasy guys out there. You can bet on over/under for fantasy points for players. And there's not a lot of places that do that. It's always the right place to play. So if you go there and use promo code MEOW, as in MeowMix.
MEOW.
Yep. You get up to a $1,000 first deposit bonus. So you can double your first deposit.
Yeah. And that's what I did. And I am putting it all on the Panthers this weekend.
MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. And don't forget to use the promo code MEOW when signing up to claim the bonus. Bet, win, get paid.
All right. So we've talked about this before. What Panther player will you have the most receiving yards with?
So I am going with Christian McCaffrey for the beer bet of the week. To have the most receiving yards. I think I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. I think there's going to be a lot of quick passes. And McCaffrey should be absolute beast this game.
I am going to go with DJ Moore because one thing I saw in Pittsburgh that, first of all, his hands look great. Second of all, it seems like Sam Darnold likes to do the quick dump offs, and it takes one time for DJ to make a guy miss, and that he could be gone. So that's.
And by the way, it could be Anderson. It could be Marshall. Like the weapons, man.
The weapons!
The weapons! All right, so I've got CMC. You've got DJ Moore. Which beer are we playing for this week? We should do that. Every week we should choose the beer. Let's see. We're getting into fall.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do some sort of Oktoberfest beer.
Sure, we can do that.
Sort of fall beer. Yeah, I like the Sam Adams myself. So
I'll go with that because I wasn't particularly expecting that. I like to go more local.
Jerry, I always like to throw you a little bit of a curveball every podcast.
I noticed.
All right. It's time for predictions.
All right. We're going to start off with bold predictions. Do you have any bold predictions?
I do have a bold prediction. I've talked a lot of shit about the O-line today.
Yeah.
I predict that the Panthers will give up 0 sacks in this game.
Very
Sam
nice.
Darnold will stay very clean.
My bold prediction is coming from a game of Madden I played earlier today against the Jets. I had 4 turnovers against the Jets, leading to a whopping victory. I say 4 turnovers.
The Jets will turn it over 4 times, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is my prediction. Bold prediction.
Now, you were playing as the Panthers, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. All right, game predictions. So we're going to go with who do we think is going to win and what's the final score. So you go first.
I'm going Carolina Panthers win 27-13. I think it's going to be a big win.
I think it's going to be an even bigger win, Jerry.
Got it. 35-10
Panthers. I even have it written down. I didn't even know what you were going to choose. 35-10 Panthers. I think the Panthers are just going to couple of defensive touchdowns and then Darnold probably 3 passing touchdowns himself. I think it's going to be.
Did you watch my Madden game earlier? Because I think that was the score.
Maybe I was playing as the Jets, Jerry.
Maybe. All right. You have any other thoughts about the game before we sign off?
No, man. I'm just ready. Go Panthers. And if they lose this game, then I may not make it for the Sunday recap show.
You'll just be crying in the background.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be able to pull myself together.
That might happen. Like, legitimately. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. And please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We will be back on Sunday evening to discuss the game. And hopefully we will be reveling in a massive Panthers victory. But either way, we'll be here. We'll be here to talk about the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly. So tune in then, and everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.